What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's JJ Buckets, and I believe it's my time. You know why it's my time? It is my time because it is time to talk basketball.
Y'all gonna deny me? Yep. Boston won!
Now, for today's video, it's kind of a player preview video, but at the same time, it's going to be done in a different structure because I just kind of want to get general thoughts out on this. So we're going to talk about Goran Dragic. We're going to talk about Goran and the fact that it looks like he's going to be here with the Raptors, for at least some period of time. For those of you that didn't see it, on Goran's social media, he recently posted some stuff about, arriving in Toronto and just the welcome that he got, obviously, from the Raptors organization in terms of just like a bunch of shit that they left. I think it was either in his hotel room or where he's living in Toronto right now. I don't know, one or the other. But basically, it does look like he's going to be here for some duration of time. So I just want to look at Goran and the kind of impact that he can have on the team and where it's going to leave the Raptors, where he slots in, all that good stuff. So let's talk about it. Goran had a bit of a rough, beginning with Raptors fans, where he was obviously caught on Slovenian television talking about how his aspirations were bigger than being in Toronto, and obviously that rubbed a lot of Raptors fans the wrong way. Again, I talked about this earlier, and I will say it again. I understand why a veteran in the league may not want to go to a team that's, I don't want to say, listen, we know the Raptors can be good this season. I know a lot of us expect them to be good, but at the same time, it's understandable that a veteran like Goran would probably want to be on a championship contender right now. And frankly, that's pretty much how I interpreted those comments. It wasn't really as much of a slight on Toronto, even though it definitely came off that way. I don't assume to know what he meant by it, but at the same time, my interpretation is just that he wants to be on a championship contender at this point, which is fine, which is understandable, but he's here now. So as he is here now, it seems like he's warmed up to the idea of playing with Toronto. Obviously, he had the immediate kind of reaction there where he had to backtrack those comments immediately and just be like, hey guys, my bad. I didn't mean it like that. Toronto's a great city and all that good stuff, and about the organization. So he did a lot of backtracking, and it seems like he's warming up to the idea. Obviously he's reporting to the team, so it's not like he's holding out, and just immediately being like, no, trade me, get me on another team. I don't want to be here. Shout out Eric Bledsoe. But with that in mind, it does look like the Raptors will have Goran for some period of time. Whatever that period of time will be, we will see. But at the very least, there's a solid chance that he will be there come opening night. So with that in mind, what kind of role can Goran have on this team? I think a lot of Raptors fans, in reaction to, that initial rough intro to Goran, overreacted a little bit in terms of, with all due respect, getting a little defensive and just calling Goran washed and, pretending like he's not that good of a piece anymore. And I don't want to be that disingenuous. Goran obviously is still a very productive role player, and I think he can be just that for the Raptors. It is a little bit weird because obviously you have Malachi Flynn, who in a perfect world you see is kind of stepping into that old Fred VanVleet role of coming off that bench and being that big point guard off the bench that leads your offense and is just a spark plug. But at the same time, with Goran there, I think there's a chance that it cuts into Malachi's minutes a little bit. In all likelihood, you're going to see a lot of two-guard lineups, like two-point guard lineups off the bench for the Raptors with Goran and with Malachi. That's at least what I would think. But at the same time, I think Goran's presence does slash into Malachi's minutes a little bit. And that's both a good and a bad thing. I mean, on one hand, you want Malachi getting those extra minutes, those extra reps, and those extra opportunities to become a better player, to grow within the offense. But at the same time, obviously, Goran is an experienced veteran in the league. He, I imagine, will pick up the offense fairly quickly. I have good faith about that. And for the most part, he should be another good piece coming off this bench. And the other reason why, having him off that bench is a good thing is it just gives you a good mentor there for a guy like Malachi, frankly, where Goran will be able to kind of, teach him like the tricks and the trades to the NBA and like get him like, mentored on like those little things that you can do to really set yourself apart, in this case, as a good role player coming off that bench, and specifically, obviously, as a point guard as well. So, having Goran for that mentor role is, I think, a huge positive for this team, frankly. Even, obviously, Fred VanVleet doesn't need it as to the same level at all. Obviously, Fred is an established, very good player in this league. Had a case, albeit I don't think he would have won that case, but had a case to be an all-star last year before the COVID stuff. So I think Freddie is fine. But even still, having that vet behind you on that team to, even potentially come around to Freddie every now and again and be like, hey, I have been in this league for a really long time and I notice you're doing this. I don't think that's a good trait. Let me, potentially show you something that could be a good counter, or something that you can alternatively do that would be better for you and your game and for this team, so on and so forth. I really do think Goran's biggest impact and the best impact he can have on this team is as a mentor, but at the same time, he can still produce at a quality level off the bench. And frankly, something that I've consistently talked about this Raptors team lacking is a little bit of playmaking, and obviously Goran is more of a score-first guard coming off the bench, but at the same time, he's not a bad playmaker by any means, so having that little extra kick of playmaking, I think, will be a solid addition to the team as well. And frankly, his blend of like playmaking and scoring off the bench with somebody like Scotty Barnes is something that could really interest me in. I think there's a lot of positives to Goran, I really do. And the biggest positive of it all, and it's the very obvious one, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't even want to say worst case scenario, but whatever scenario here where obviously he's not a part of future plans, you keep Goran around for the part of the season that you do leading up to the trade deadline. He has a good season or decent season, whatever the case is, coming off the bench for the Raptors. So come the deadline, his trade value is good. Hungry contenders are looking to improve to keep up with, in all likelihood, the Nets and the Lakers, the Bucks, and convince themselves that they have a chance to be, in that championship race with them. There are going to be hungry teams that are, chomping at the bit to add a good veteran like Goran to their team. And at that point, if the Raptors feel like they're in a position where they want to move on from him, or they want to just recoup value from him because he's obviously here on a one-year deal and he will be otherwise off the books come free agency, and by the sound of it, not sticking around, at that point, Masai can make that call to just go redeem him for assets that will help the team moving forward in the future. So basically, this is a long way of saying, I actually really think whatever the case it ends up being here, having Goran on this team is a net positive for the Raptors. And there's a couple of different ways he can impact this team, but whatever that way is, I think it'll end up working out for them. I really do. All this being said, these are more or less my thoughts on Goran Dragic. I really should look up that pronunciation. The proper Slavic pronunciation, which is really ironic because I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned this on air, but I'm a Slav. So I really should know that. Anyways, that's really beside the point. Those are my thoughts. Comment below whether or not you agree, and comment what type of role you see him having on this team. You know the usual drill from here. Like the video, it does not take a lot of time and it goes a long way for this channel and helping it be more seen. And I say it again and again, but I will keep saying it because I keep meaning it. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Other than that, subscribe to the channel if you're new here or if you've been on the fence. I want to hit 1K by the end of the year. It's a very doable goal and I'm well on the way. I just need a little bit more help from you guys, so appreciate everybody that does it. Past that, that's pretty much the video for me. And I will see everybody next time.